Chapter 1: The Vulnerability of the Public Grid. Modern civilization operates on a critical, unrecognized structural flaw. We call it the centralized energy infrastructure, an absolute biological dependency. Every modern commercial enterprise depends entirely on the same vulnerable electrical grid. Every public hospital, emergency facility, and communication node relies on the same electric lifeblood, and every single citizen is permanently chained to state-monitored utility distribution networks. We assumed this centralized energy monopoly was a permanent, unbreakable human achievement, guaranteed indefinitely by the legal and physical enforcement authority of the nation-state. But behind closed boardroom doors, the 0.1% see a reality of deep systemic decay. They see regional power grids aging rapidly beyond any realistic maintenance or repair timelines. They see high-voltage lines vulnerable to highly coordinated cyber warfare and physical infrastructure sabotage. They know the state will soon ration energy resources using mandatory digital carbon quotas, cutting off electrical power dynamically to non-compliant or rebellious localized populations. The elites are refusing to participate in this impending state of artificial scarcity. They are actively planning their complete, irreversible thermodynamic decoupling from public grids. This is the dawn of the energetic secession, the foundational pillar of the new feudal order. They are converting their volatile fiat paper fortunes into highly resilient, physical thermodynamic power. They are building unmapped, independent micro-nuclear sanctuaries deep within isolated continental heartlands. This is the official rise of the sovereign Tech-Feudal Enclosure, where energy is no longer a shared public utility, but an exclusive dynastic asset. Those who control the generation of electrons will dictate the terms of human survival. The shared social contract of the 20th century is being systematically dissolved, replaced by a cold, calculated matrix of private energetic autonomy. The transition is silent, invisible, and completely unstoppable. Chapter 2: Micronuclear Cores and Absolute Autonomy. To achieve absolute autonomy, the enclosure requires a permanent, independent energy source, the ultimate fuel capable of sustaining sovereign power across generations. Traditional green technologies like solar panels and wind turbines are dismissed as fragile toys. They are highly vulnerable to changing weather patterns, physical sabotage, and grid fluctuations. Today, those primitive surface systems are being completely bypassed by the elite. They are burying highly advanced small modular reactors, or SMRs, deep underground, drilled directly into solid, seismically stable granite and basalt geological formations. These private nuclear cores utilize fuel systems requiring zero external replenishment for more than 30 years, operating silently, bypassing municipal grids, and feeding unmapped proprietary artificial intelligence arrays. These systems employ closed-loop liquid fluoride thorium processes that prevent catastrophic meltdowns. A self-draining freeze valve ensures safety, even during a total loss of facility control. The power output does not route through state-monitored high-voltage transmission lines. It is injected directly into high-density, local storage and private vertical agricultural towers. Every watt generated is protected from regulatory intervention, monetary taxation, and grid audits. When public cities experience engineered rolling blackouts, these enclaves remain perfectly, brilliantly illuminated. By possessing an independent thermodynamic source, the elite completely escape national sovereignty. They establish an unassailable energetic moat that no government regulatory agency can cross. The private reactor becomes the beating, radioactive heart of the sovereign fiefdom, generating the processing power required to run autonomous algorithmic estates and maintaining complete structural continuity through any global collapse scenario. This is not a temporary emergency power backup plan. It is a permanent secession from the collective energetic matrix of humanity. Chapter 3: AI, Drone Outposts, and Automated Frontiers. Energy autonomy is meaningless without an absolute, physical border defense framework. a private territorial boundary protected by an unyielding wall of algorithms. But traditional human mercenaries are inherently vulnerable to bribery, panic, and fatigue. They represent a dangerous biological risk factor within the sovereign enclosure. To eliminate this vulnerability, the 0.1% are establishing automated robotic barriers, massive networks of unmapped, AI-controlled drone hives carved directly into peripheral mountain peaks, equipped with active infrared tracking arrays and autonomous kinetic payloads. Optical neural networks immediately identify, classify, and target all physical anomalies, neutralizing any unauthorized intrusion within seconds, long before human intervention is possible. These autonomous quadcopters operate on localized mesh networks, independent of global satellite connections. They patrol the private airspace, continuously, powered by the subterranean nuclear cores, laser-fenced physical security barriers, monitor every square inch of the territorial perimeter, scanning the wilderness with invisible, multi-spectrum infrared beams. The entire frontier of the Tech-Feudal Enclave becomes a highly lethal algorithmic trap, where any unsanctioned movement is met with immediate, calculated kinetic force. This is the transition from public border patrol to private automated warfare. The elite no longer rely on national militaries or local police departments for security. They possess their own private, automated monopoly on physical violence, securing their sovereign energetic sanctuaries behind an impenetrable digital shield. This is a territorial defense strategy designed to withstand severe geopolitical unrest, ensuring the dynasty remains completely untouched by the chaos of the outside world. Chapter 4: The Closed-Loop Industrial Enclosure. To sustain this absolute isolation across generations, the enclosure requires industrial self-sufficiency, the automated manufacture of every critical physical component within the perimeter. Yet traditional manufacturing networks are deeply dependent on fragile global trade routes, vulnerable to sudden maritime shipping blockades, trade wars, and national labor strikes. To eliminate this geopolitical risk, the elite are building closed-loop automated foundries, operating entirely within the armored boundaries of their sovereign enclaves. These high-tech industrial complexes employ zero human factory workers. They deploy advanced multi-axis robotic additive manufacturing systems, capable of printing complex metal and composite structures on demand. From replacement drone chassis to critical micronuclear reactor components, operating day and night, under the complete control of localized quantum computing networks. Step inside these hidden industrial complexes, and you will hear only the sound of heavy servos. No human voices, no biological errors, and no union disputes exist within these walls. Every manufacturing sequence is mathematically optimized by predictive sovereign algorithms, bypassing the entire global supply chain and national import tariffs. They utilize localized mineral recycling systems to achieve near-perfect material circularity, ensuring the fortress remains fully operational, even during complete global economic isolation. This is not a commercial enterprise designed to generate trade profits. It is a highly calculated monopoly on automated self-preservation. By decoupling from public supply chains, absolute capital achieves industrial immortality, protecting its physical assets from the friction of global logistics and inflation. The fiefdom becomes a self-replicating, closed-loop machine of sovereign power. Chapter 5: The Neo-Feudal Sovereign Reality. Energy, physical defense, and raw industrial output are now completely secured. Absolute capital claims total territorial immunity, bypassing the modern definition of the state. We are witnessing the official dawn of the Neo-Feudal sovereign reality, where the 0.1% systematically abandon their legal national citizenship, decoupling permanently from public currencies, national taxation, and judicial courts. They no longer need the protective umbrella of the nation-state, because their private infrastructure is vastly superior to any public system. These automated techno-fiefdoms operate completely outside international law, and beyond the reach of human rights conventions and national regulatory bodies. Inside these armored independent perimeters, proprietary algorithms manage all resources, while the general public remains stranded outside the walls of the enclosure. Trapped within an energy-starved, hyper-regulated, and collapsing civilization. Subject to constant rolling blackouts, economic rationing, and digital surveillance. The philosophical conclusion of this transition is terrifyingly clear. When absolute capital owns its own micro-nuclear generators and autonomous AI defenses, power becomes permanently disconnected from the consent of the governed. The hyper-elite no longer require a cooperative public society to generate their wealth. The exits are already fully powered, independent, and operational. The secure boundaries are guarded entirely by autonomous robotic systems. The age of the modern nation-state is drawing to its final, quiet close. Replaced by an unyielding matrix of private, sovereign technological fortresses. Subscribe to future Prism Lab for the hidden thermodynamic mechanics of wealth.